Alan, do you hear me okay?
Yep.
I asked DeVante the same question, but just given the significance of Aaron's next touchdown pass, how meaningful would it be to be on the receiving end of that?
Huge, huge. I think I had a chance to on the last drive or the second to last drive that we had. We kind of just I think the wind kind of caught and just sailed out of the end zone. So yeah, I mean, I think anytime catching a touchdown is obviously a huge significant play in the game and everything. It means a lot to us individually, as a unit offensively. And then just be able to be part of such a special record would be pretty cool.
Tom Silverstein. Tom. We'll keep going. Wes from Packers.com.
Hey, Alan, do you got me?
Yep.
Cool. Hey, I just was wondering what the reaction was when you're in the film room, reviewing the game and seeing the coverage that, the Ravens threw at DeVante, and if you'd ever experienced anything like that yourself at Iowa State.
Nah, never anything what I experienced with DeVante. I remember lining up, I think it was the first second down of the game, line up in like dice right, and I look out, I'm like, there's two guys over there that usually doesn't add up, when I'm kind of scanning the defense and everything. So as soon as I noticed that, I was like, oh, this is going to be a unique game. And, I think the game was very unique in the sense of, especially for how they played. And honestly, I think that was probably one of the better defensive groups that we went against, given the fact that they were, had replacements in on the back end of everything. I think those guys still played very well. And, it was a very hard fought win that we had to get up out of there.
Bill Huber.
Alan, you guys are among the top teams in yards after the catch per catch. How do you guys get better at that, especially at this stage of the season where it's a lot of walkthroughs and maybe you're not able to simulate that as much?
Routes on air. I think that's where it starts with stances and starts individual. I think those are some of the harder parts of practice at some times where, we take that part very serious. And I think just learning your craft, owning your craft, obviously having a guy like Davante Adams in the room to be able to learn from. I think he owns probably 70-80% of those yards after catch too. But yeah, I think it's just, going through the same routine every single day, attacking the ball the same way every single time, knowing that, the attempts, the catches that you get are very limited in a sense. So you want to get the most out of them.
Matt Schneidman.
I thought you were going to say Marcedes had like 90% of those yards after catch. But when you were with him in Jacksonville, kind of that brief time you had, what was your impression of him? And
I was never in Jacksonville.
Oh, okay. You were in 18. That's right. That's my fault. But just your early impressions of him here. I know after that 2018 season, he said that Goody called him on his way to the airport and kind of had to convince him to not retire and come back. How has he been able to keep doing this for so long? And do you guys kind of have to start drawing up more plays for him, given what he's done the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's impressive, being able to be that size and watching him move with the agility and strength and power that he has. It's very impressive just for his size and for the fact that he's in year 17, 18 now, whatever it is, a lot further along than a lot of us. I think it's a testament to who he is as a person, and how he treats his craft, how he treats his job. He's the most consistent every single day in the locker room, how he handles himself after practice with his rehab, his treatment. He always says it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle that you got to have. And he's just a great example. I didn't really, like I said, I wasn't with him in 18, but, that's all they did was talk about him when we were down in Jacksonville. Marcedes Lewis, Marcedes that. So then to be able to kind of meet him in person, be able to play alongside with him, get to know him personally. He's nothing but a blessing. And thank God Goody convinced him not to retire, because he's obviously a huge part to this team. And the fact that, he's been having very explosive plays in the pass game over the past weeks just adds versatility to his game and our offense. And, it's going to keep defenders and D coordinators on their toes a lot more.
Dave Schroeder.
Hey, Alan, you got me?
Yep.
How important is home field advantage being stressed in this opportunity you have in front of yourselves again, like you had last year?
I don't think any of it's stressed. I think it's, we just take it week by week at a time. We know the situation that we're in as a team. We obviously have a little bit more cushion after this week and everything, but we can't just take these last 3 opponents lightly at all. They're obviously fighting for playoff spots, and they're playing for more than what we are in a sense. But I think it's just the standard. It's what we preach every single week on how to attack each and every team. So we know what's still left out there for us, and regardless of if we end up with a 1 seed, if we end up with a 2, whatever seed we have, it's all about getting to the dance. It's all about getting to the playoffs, and then once you get there, then it's about what you do once you get there. So the fact that we're there, we're checking off one of the boxes, but we still have several other boxes to check off before we finish our goals.
Couple more for Allen. Brian Wood.
Alan, the coverage that they gave DeVante is obviously a great respect to him and his abilities. When you're on the field, though, with him, do you take that as at all disrespectful to you and your abilities when you see that kind of coverage that the Ravens showed?
No, not at all. I mean, it's like you said, it's respect to DeVante. I don't think it's demeaning to the rest of the guys, the other 10 guys that are out there on the field. I think it's just like, it lets you know on how explosive DeVante is, how powerful, how much of a game changer that guy is when the ball gets in his hands. So I don't see that as disrespect. I think it'd be disrespectful if they lined up nobody over me, from that standpoint. So no, I don't see that as disrespect at all.
Wes from Packers.com.
Hey, Alan, when you go back to, the way you sort of broke out, 19, kind of having to be that next guy up, you've had a number of guys do that this year, whether it be Tyler kind of coming in and, making that seam catch, and, Josiah. How important is that throughout the course of the year when some of those, role player type guys sort of emerge as playmakers for you in the late down the stretch?
Yeah, it's huge. I think it's those little plays like that that help us, be where we are today with only having 3 losses and everything. So, but I think this is the culture. I've said that many times before, speaking on my experience and other guys being able to kind of who've been put into a role that they have a more responsibility. They're being asked more of on the game day because they're the backup or whatever situation presents itself, and they have to step in and own that role. So I think it goes back to the culture of guys like Aaron, Marcedes, DeVante. You got guys like Kenny, DeVandre, Jair on the other side of the ball, Smash too, that have just they just kept that mentality of being able to allow the guys to be able to come in and be able to fill that void and know that the other 10 guys out there on the field are going to do their job. And I think when you know that, when you know that what the other 10 guys out there are going to do their job, it makes you doing your job a lot easier. And it takes a little bit less pressure off of you, a lot less stress, and it just allows you to be able to go out there and play. So I think, that's a big reason why we've had Josiah be able to come onto the scene a little bit more, TD be able to step up and big time moments like he did last week. And, for me in my career, be able to kind of just fit in and be able to kind of make a name for myself is because, I'm surrounded by other great players that allowed me to be me and to play within my game as well. But, I think it's just the comfortability level, the bond in the locker room, the charisma. And I think that goes back a long ways as well.
Bill Huber.
Sorry, Eric, I forgot to take my hand down. I'm good.
Okay. One more then, Mike Clemens.
Hi, Alan. With the past 2 years going so deep in the playoffs, do you think you and your group of guys that have been there 2-3 years can play more loose as you get closer to this postseason? Or do you feel like there's a little more pressure on you?
Either. Like I said earlier, it's more so about just the week-to-week mentality, the mindset of knowing that we can't take these next 3 opponents lightly because we still have a lot left out there for us. And, we've had success. Yes, we've won division titles. We've gone to the MC Championship the past 2 years, but ultimately, when the season's over with, we didn't reach our goal. I think that's just the focus and the mentality that that we've had in the locker room, knowing that we're getting to that part of the season. And, we're playing really good ball right now on both sides of the ball. And this is the time where we need to keep on separating, keep on getting better, and not slowing down at all to be able to get over that hump that we haven't been able to surpass the past few years.